Social Security, 12 things everybody should know. Let's talk about this a little bit from a website called Think Advisor, which I also followed for quite a bit for many years. It used to be called something else, but they've since changed the name. Still a wonderful website. You get lots of great information. Again, more geared towards financial planning professionals, but even the lay person can get a lot from thinkadvisor.com as well. So let's dive right into it, see what these 12 things are. I don't know. And I saw 12 things. I figured that'd be kind of interesting to talk on. So don't forget to subscribe down below. And of course, thumbs up, comments, the whole thing helps me out. So go ahead and do those as well. So let's see what old Think Advisor says about the 12 things everyone should know about Social Security. And the author is a guy named Michael Fisher, Fischer. I'm not familiar with Michael Fisher. So let's actually, does it tell us who this guy is down here? Maybe not. So I don't know who Michael Fisher is. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I thought I saw something right. No. But I do follow a lot of these guys. And Michael Fisher is not one of the guys I know. Again, doesn't mean he's legit or not. It just means I'm not familiar with him. So let's dive into it. So number one. Social Security is not going bankrupt. And these are 12 things AARP says everybody should know. So he's just using AARP stuff. So that's what he's talking about. Almost looks like they get the bulletin. Yeah, so a special report in the November AARP bulletin discusses this. So this is direct from AARP. So the program is in really good shape right now, says AARP's legislative policy director. We know it has a long-term financial challenge. For decades, Social Security, we know this. Social Security has collected more money than it paid out for decades. The surplus was reinvested in Treasury securities each and every year where they got the interest off those securities. Right now, the trust fund is at $2.9 trillion, but as the birth rate has fallen and more boomers retire, the ratio of workers to Social Security recipients is changing. And absent any changes, the trust fund reserves will be exhausted in 2034. We know that that. If that's news to you, shouldn't be. We've known that for quite some time. The program will continue to pay benefits even in 2034, but at a rate of 79 cents on the dollar, as opposed to going bankrupt. It's not going back. It's not going bankrupt. Stop. Congress probably will not take up Social Security reform anytime soon. 100% agree with that. No politician wants to risk the wrath of the biggest voting bloc that's out there, and that's seniors. There's just no other way around that. Congress is unlikely to make any effort to reform Social Security until there is the possibility of bipartisan support. Whether or not will that happen as new Congress with Democrats taking over the House remains to be seen. Highly suspect that won't happen, given that Congress has, the Democrats in particular, have always charged the Republicans of trying to get rid of Social Security. Paul Ryan was literally pushing grandma off a cliff in the 2012 presidential ads that they ran against the Romney-Ryan thing. And the Republicans are just, my goodness, they're not going to touch it unless the Democrats go first. There's no other way around that. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. And frankly, the Democrats will touch it. It's probably going to take a Democratic president, to be perfectly honest with you, because they will get the media to at least maybe not back it, but lay off it more so than Trump or Mike Pence. Some ideas for reform funding are starting to take shape. One proposal would be to raise or eliminate the wage cap on how much income is subject to the Social Security payroll tax. I think that's probably a no-brainer. I don't like it, but I think that's going to happen. In 2019, the cap will be $132,000, which means that any amount a worker earns beyond that is not taxed. Absent that cap, higher income earners would contribute far more to the system. I don't get that. Absent the cap, if they didn't have a cap, then basically paying more taxes to higher earners. The question is, if you're paying it, is it a subsidy for the higher earners to other recipients? Because are the higher earners going to get a proportionate amount relative to the taxes they pay? Because remember, right now they don't. You stop the amount right there, and your max AIME, your average index monthly earnings, is roughly $2,900. Get rid of the cap, and the max AIME presumably would be anything. I don't know. I don't know how that works. It'd be tough to get rid of the cap and then max AIME. Then it's a subsidy from higher earners to lower. And that would be. I don't like it. Regardless of what you think about it. If you got Warren Buffett over there with $8,000 trillion paying into Social Security, and he's only getting a max at 2,900, it's literally taking money from him and give it to other people. And at least in the other regard, you can say he's paying into it to get some back. And we'll see. Lawmakers do not raid the trust fund. A common myth is that Congress and the president use the Social Security trust fund assets to pay for other federal expenses. In fact, the money remaining after the Social Security Administration has paid benefits is invested directly into U.S. Treasury securities, which the government can cap into but must pay back in interest. I completely agree with that. Remember, they used to Al Gore, the Social Security lockbox. Well, it's already there. Many believe it can be run better. The Social Security Administration, with more than 60,000 employees and 1,200 field offices nationwide, is struggling to keep up as the number of retirees rapidly increases. There aren't enough resources to take care of all the people right now, and add another 10,000 people turning 65 every day, says the AARP guy. It's going to be even worse. A recent audit showed that the average wait time at a field office increased by 32% in the last 7 years. In fact, I was just reading today that I think there's a 17-minute wait hold if you're on hold, and only 18 or 20% of people actually get their calls answered. In fact, I read too that they closed 40 offices over the last 7 years as well. So the number of offices apparently being reduced, and while the demand is going higher, which is going to lead to more and more wait times and worse service that you get from the SSA, which means you better figure it out. That was straight from Devin Carroll's book, as a matter of fact. I read that. So you better get your own knowledge of Social Security. Your Social Security benefits can be taxed. We talked about that a lot here. If you have other income addition to Social Security, you might have to pay federal taxes on your benefits. For example, single filers with combined annual income exceeding $34,000, 85% of their benefit will be taxed. If you follow this YouTube channel, hopefully you have that ingrained in your head. And if you're married filing jointly and you make more than $44,000, then you'll also have 85% of your benefits taxed. And 13 states also tax Social Security. Social Security is not meant to be a retiree's sole source of income. We've known that since day one, and yet 26% of those 65 and over who receive a monthly benefit today live with families that depend on it for almost all their retirement income. So that's not shocking. It's never supposed to have been it, but here we are. I mean, a good portion of Americans rely on Social Security as their sole source of income. The purchasing power of Social Security is diminishing. The Social Security's formula to calculate its annual cost of living adjustment, which is intended to help beneficiaries' monthly checks keep up inflation, does not fully account for the average older American Social Security medical costs. AARP says these costs have been increasing faster than other goods and services. An average American age 55 or older spends about 27% more annually on healthcare than the overall population, according to BLS. So basically, because healthcare is increasing at a higher percentage than other things, and the fact that retirees spend more on healthcare, more of their spending, their increase in spending, is going to healthcare. But notice, I do want to say, an average American 55 and older spends 27% more annually on healthcare than the overall population. Well, that you still are being led to believe that the biggest cost in retirement is healthcare, and that's simply not true. Yes, you are spending more than the average person, but it is not saying at the same time that your biggest expenditure is healthcare. Just saying you're spending more than the other people that are underneath you in terms of age. That's not one and the same. I hate this idea that Social Security, Medicare, healthcare is your biggest expense. It's just not. You can work and get Social Security. Yes, you can, but you will pay taxes or have benefits withheld, I should say, if you do before your full retirement age. Just remember that. But you will get this money back in the form of higher benefits once you hit your full retirement age. So it's not being taken away from you forever. Social Security has gone digital. The U.S. Treasury now favors electronic payments and electronic filing as well. Social Security is not just a retirement program. There's Social Security disability, dependent Social Security. So if you have children, I think under the age of 17, of course, survivor benefits as well. So you get disability, dependent, and survivor benefits, plus just regular retirement benefits. Social Security, most people get more back in benefits than they put in. According to AARP, studies show that most people receive more benefits than they paid into the program. As a general matter, married couples are likely to get more back than they contributed than single people, and both low income and high income people may receive more dollars over a lifetime than the amount they contributed. Well, I hope so. I mean, they're taking money from us and theoretically is being invested at least above the beyond the rate of inflation to get more money than we put in. I certainly hope so. But of course, if you die early, you're not. So anyway, that's an interesting thing from Think Advisor, actually from the AARP. I don't see any comments on here, but just a couple things about that. Just remember the benefits that you're getting. They're going to digital where you have to apply online. There's no other way around that. Hard to apply online if you don't know what you're doing. So you better get some understanding of Social Security benefits. I got tons of YouTube channels here, videos on this. That guy Devin Carroll, Alicia Monell over at Boston College Center for Retirement Research, Larry Kotlikoff from Boston University. The guy Mark Orr, I talked about him. He had written a book on Social Security benefits. Just lots of resources. So if you like to read, listen, or watch, tons and tons of stuff available for you to find out. Social Security also has its own YouTube channel, and I highly suggest you subscribe to that as well. But anyways, that's 12 things that everyone needs to be aware of about Social Security, and hopefully you're aware of most of those. If you follow this channel, you probably do, but if not, if this is your introduction to the Heritage Wealth Planning YouTube channel, and this has proven beneficial to you, sign up down below, subscribe, and comment, and give me a thumbs up. And of course, as always, share the video. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks now.